Roman, a very defensive-minded first half that we saw there from both teams. What are your thoughts?
Well, we had 6 fouls in the first 4 minutes. Coach Tanner went with a more defensive starting lineup there. We knew this was going to be a low-scoring game, and this game throughout is going to be, first team to get to 70 points probably has a really good shot here. But just looking at the stats, super even. The big things for ACU, 16 points from their bench. Texas State has 0. Their bench has really shown up to play on both the defensive and offensive sides, and they're getting turnovers while not giving up too many. The differential is pretty even there, but ACU has 14 points off their turnovers, and Texas State only has 3.
Yeah, Roman, we talked here before we went on about this is a statement game for ACU defensively. A kind of a tougher team, kind of what can we do here defensively? What are your thoughts, though, for the defense there for ACU?
Yeah, ACU has always been a defensive-minded basketball program. That's what this program does. That's their bread and butter, and they've done a great job so far, being physical without being too physical. There's some fouls that could probably, be left behind, but they've done a great job limiting, open looks. And if you're Texas State, you're just not shooting the ball well. You've got a couple guys who have a few points, but you're shooting 31% as a team, while ACU's shooting 42, and you're 50% from 3, but there aren't very many threes going down. You're 1 of 2 from 3. You have to be able to create shots better than they have so far.
Yeah, take a look at the steals there. ACU, 4 steals defensively. Texas State was 6. ACU did a good job there early by not turning over the ball. We talked about that, but then as we started getting closer to this halftime break, Texas State did a great job there, and 9 turnovers for ACU and 10 for Texas State. So kind of even there in the turnover battle.
For sure, and Texas State started 2 of 9 from the field, which is about the 8.5-minute mark, and then started to climb back in about 9.5 minutes. That broke down that lead a little bit, and then ACU they kept responding and kept climbing back in and extending that lead, playing with confidence and just playing the team basketball that they need to play.
Yeah, talking about some defensive highlights here. Talking about a defensive matchup, look at some of these highlights here. That's Keon Williams. We talked about that. It was a big game for him to be back. Talked about how he needed a couple of days off for some rest. He rested against McMurray. Now he's back, and he's a big key for the Wildcats.
Yeah, huge piece. Transferring in from Oklahoma State. Really great addition to this team. And Brett Tanner added a lot of guys. Joseph Van Zant, another big piece there, as well as Cade Hornick, who started today in place of Leo Bettiol, who's had a great game. But then Hunter Jack Madden, a guy who's been here a long time, leading scorer with 8 and just playing really well. ACU just thriving in their style right now, and it doesn't look like they're playing a big school like Texas State here.
You're right. And also, Dontrez Williams there, another key freshman for ACU. Talking about the recruiting there that Brett Tanner has done this offseason. He told me that, again, they're still trying to find kind of where they are, and this team, like we see in Texas State, doing a good job.
Yeah, they're just playing really well, playing their ball, not getting sped up or slowed down, just, staying within themselves, playing, without emotion. But then they're also they're doing everything right. The leading scorer for Texas State has 11 points and a 5 of 5 shooting, so that's a really good job. But, going forward in the second half, ACU just needs to rely on their defense, rely on each other, let the bench be the bench, and just play really great team basketball.
Yeah, you're right, Roman. Well, that's all from us up here in the 3rd floor here at Moody Coliseum. We'll see you at the end of the game after this. Thank you, Hunter. Amazing win, statement win, like we mentioned there for the Wildcats. You told me at the break whoever would cross 70 was probably going to pull this one out. And Roman, ACU did that here.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And just a really great team effort. 24 bench points for ACU, only 3 for Texas State. Just a really great team win. A bit of a yin and yang thing. If someone's not playing well, take them out, put someone else in. They're going to do a good job. And defensively, ACU was so good today, playing that Brett Tanner style of ball that ACU is known for. Really great defensive game and a really great game to set the tone moving forward.
Well, yeah, you talk about 24 points off the bench. We talked to Coach Tanner about getting his guys kind of dialed in, figured out where they fit. But 24 points off the bench is pretty impressive there for ACU. Roman, what do you think going into the final stretch? They talked about, this was the kind of last couple home games here before they go off for a month. What do you think ACU is going to have to do taking it on the road here?
They're just going to need to keep playing the way that they play. Playing good defense, passing the ball, sharing the ball, getting points in the paint, and relying on each other. If they get out of that, that's when they struggle. We saw that against Middle Tennessee. But if they play the way that Coach Tanner wants them to play, and if they execute, they're going to be a really good team and a really tough one to beat.
Yeah, big defensive game here for ACU. That's been all from up here. Jamison Sterrett, Roman Raffaeli.
Thanks, Grant. I'm here with Blaine Taylor. Blaine, you had 2 touchdowns and a career high in receiving yards today. What led you to be so successful?
Practice. You got to come with the right mindset. We practice every day. Go full speed, go all out, and trust between me and the quarterback. So that's all we need. And, of course, the O-line, of course. Without them, I wouldn't be able to get the ball.
The defense had 3 turnovers today. How does that allow the offense to be successful?
Well, that's what we needed. We need 3 turnovers every game. That's our goal. That's what we go for. It helps the offense because we get that. We get momentum. Go punch in the end zone, keep the drives going.
Big win today, moving to 4-1 in conference and getting a homecoming crowd win. What does this game mean for your team going forward?
One step closer to a conference championship. And then we're trying to go 4-1 at home. So this is another big step for us.
Thank you, Blaine. Good luck this year.
I'm your host, Joseph Chapas, my partner in crime right here, Roman Raffaeli. Roman, offensive production has been the answer for ASU to start the season long. What have you seen from them so far, and how impressive have they been here in their home opener?
Yeah, absolutely, Joseph. I mean, the big question coming into today was, could they back up that 51-point performance against Texas Tech? In that first quarter, they really showed that. They got Sam Hicks off to a quick rushing touchdown on their first possession, and then got another one through the air in their second possession. But since then, it's really stalled out, and the defense of West Georgia has really given them a tough run.
And we're seeing all of that reflected on the numbers as we take a look here at our ESPN Plus halftime stats and analysis. You just take a look at them and you kind of see the difference in the offensive approaches between ACU and University of West Georgia. Running the ball is fundamental in the game of football, and I think that's what's setting ahead the Wildcats apart versus West Georgia.
Absolutely, and West Georgia in the second quarter actually had 54 rushing yards. They had -2 in that first quarter, but really got the ground game established, which allowed them to possess the ball a little bit more and get ACU back on their heels.
And you can't ignore the stellar play of Maverick McIver this past weekend, the first player in ACU history in the Division I era to throw for over 500 passing yards. And while he's not going to reach that number here tonight, he's still having a fantastic game of just controlling the game and being a great signal caller. What have you seen from him and the differing side from their signal caller?
Yeah, I mean, Maverick has had an okay game. He's had a little bit more pressure in his face, a little bit more, a couple sacks, wasn't sacked at all last week. And then for Devin Wadner, he exit with an injury at about 6-minute mark in that second quarter. Backup came in and was pretty good, got the offense running a little bit. Unfortunately, no points for the Wolves in his possessions, but it's been an interesting quarterback battle, and we're going to see if QB1 comes back out for the Wolves.
And for the second half, are you thinking more of the same or a little bit different here for both teams?
Well, I think the Wildcats have got to get Blaine Taylor going. I mean, one catch in that first half, he's your star wide receiver. You've got to get some production out of him. But Nehemiah Martinez, Sam Hicks, and Isaiah Johnson have been great in the backfield, and Martinez in the pass game has had a really, really successful half, had a nice little sweep there at the end. But they got to get the run game fully established so that they can open up that air and run that Rick Bowie air raid offense.
Well, it certainly is all hands on deck for the Abilene Christian Wildcats here. For West Georgia, we'll see what they can come up with here in the second half to continue to make this game competitive here in Abilene, Texas. Joseph Chapa, my partner here, Roman Raffaeli, signing off here for our debut of the ESPN Plus halftime report, and we'll throw it back to what Nehemiah Martinez was talking about. He hit it on early. It was practice. Roman, this ACU team is completely different this year. New offense. Head coach Keith Patterson talks about the camaraderie, and what an exciting start of the home year here in Abilene, Texas. What did you see so far from the Wildcats?
Well, you hear it a lot. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And while it might not have always been pretty for the Wildcats, they ended with 17 points in that fourth quarter. The defense showed up. McIver was clicking with his tight ends, even the backup ones, and then having Tyson Williams, a sophomore corner, coming up with a huge game-sealing interception like that. It's just phenomenal football from Keith Patterson's squad.
Well, and you take a look at the stats here. 499 total yards from ACU, a type of offensive production that we saw last weekend in Lubbock against the Red Raiders. And you see they're more of a balanced style of team this year going up against University of West Georgia. An exciting start, but it's going to be a tough schedule ahead, traveling to Colorado and then Idaho back here for Family Weekend on the 21st. What are you predicting here moving forward?
You know, I think the game in Northern Colorado is going to be a really good one, and then Idaho, that's a tough team, ranked number 3, I believe, in the preseason poll. But I think ACU is going to be able to come out of this 3-1 with that Tech loss being the only one.
Well, already a great start to the home year. Packed house here at Anthony Field at Wildcats Stadium. Joseph Chapa, Roman Raffaeli signing off here for the postgame show. Mr. Grant Boone, back to you, my man.
I'm Cody Coyle alongside Roman Raffaeli. And Roman, good matchup. Everyone looking forward to football a little bit later, but first we have hoops here at ACU.
That's right, great opportunity here. East versus West down here in Abilene, and you mentioned it, ACU really hot here, and East Texas A&M still trying to find their footing. Losers of 4 out of 5 and looking to get on the right track today.
The impact players for tonight's game, some ones to watch out for ACU, Peyton Hull. More on her a little bit later. And Jordan Newsom averaging over 20 points a game for East Texas A&M for the Lady Lions. 2 great guards in this contest.
Yeah, both leading their teams in scoring and minutes. Shooting 47 and 45% and 32 and 45 from 3. Jordan Newsom's going to be someone that ACU really needs to play good defense on. Cannot let her get hot, especially early in this one. And Peyton Hull has struggled a little bit from three-pointer, winning WAC Freshman of the Year last year, and shooting almost 40% last season, but this year struggling a little bit, being able to penetrate defenses and get it to the free throw line, leading the WAC currently in free throw shooting. It's going to be an interesting one here tonight.